So, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. As you can see, sadly today I couldn't get to the match. Really disappointed. Obviously, got a season ticket, couldn't get there for one reason or another. But it sounds like I've not missed much. It sounds like it's been really, really disappointing. I've listened to bits and bobs of Radio Leicester commentary. I've not seen it, so I need people to tell me what has happened today. If you've managed to watch the game, let us know what has happened today. 3 games on the trot, we've lost. I'm not even talking about the Bournemouth game, of course. It's the league is the only thing that matters. We've lost to Borough at home. They were doing nothing much in the league. We lost away at Leeds when we were 1-0 up. Again, that was a disappointment. 10 minutes to go, we're 1-0 up, and Leeds completely destroyed us in that last 10 minutes. Today, we have played Queen's Park Rangers at home. They're in the bottom 4. What is going on in Leicester City? Let us know what is happening. I want your views. I want your comments. A lot of you will have been to the game. Clearly, I haven't been to the game. I need to know from you who were at the game. What on earth has happened at the match? I'm gutted I wasn't there. Obviously, I've got a season ticket. I could not get there today. What has happened? Get your views in. Get your comments in. Charlie says here, we won't go straight back up. FFS. As far as I know, Ipswich have won today, Charlie. They are now 3 points behind us. Leeds are 5 points behind us. Scooby Baz played really well. We played really well for a lot of the season, Scooby Baz, but no killer instinct in at all 3 games. Let us know. I want to know if you're at the game or you watched the game, because I know there's a lot of people watch Leicester City from around the world and therefore could get like a stream or whatever. Where did Tom Cannon play when he came on? It sounds like we had a lot of the ball again. The stats are the usual: 700 plus passes, 75% possession. What did I miss? How did it go? Callum says, glad I didn't go today. He talked about himself. I'm disappointed I didn't go because there's nothing better than seeing it firsthand. So let us know what happened. In the Facebook group, somebody says too slow in the build-up. It's been slow all season. Matty, did you watch it, Matty, though? If you weren't there, not there today, really piss poor. That is, he's trying to say. Somebody in the Facebook group says Leicester need to sort themselves out or they'll throw the league away in there. Where's all the chat about points breaking? I've been saying for weeks and weeks, I've been saying for months, I don't care about records. But where are the fans who were saying this is going to be absolutely a shoe-in? We're going to break records. We're going to score the most amount of goals in the season. I want to know where those fans are now. 3 games. Are you panicking? Because I know I certainly am. Because you've got teams like Leeds and Ipswich on the march and Leicester wheels falling off. Nick Moore says, Eunice, useless. Mavadidi, poor again. What have they done today that's gone wrong? Scooby Baz says 74% possession, 18 shots, only 5 on target. Locks saying, think it's over now. Locks has been absolutely like we're going to break league records. We're going to be the most points ever scored. Locks, what do you mean you think it's all over now? I'll share the link and you can come in and give us your views, Locks. Let me just post it in there. I've posted the link in there. Locks, if you want to come on or anybody else wants to come on, give us your views. Ben says we're becoming a laughing stock. Other fans are laughing at us. The Italian Rodgers needs to go tonight. I don't think anybody's asking for Enzo to go today, but I know as soon as we went 2-0 down, I was thinking, are we going to do plan B? Is something going to change? And I want to know from you guys who were at the match, especially if you're at the King Power Stadium, did we do a plan B? Did we go for it in that last 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Bottling it there, says Ian Peach. Bottling it. It was their awful. Daka, a total joke. Well, listen, we know Daka missed an absolute sitter against Leeds to make it 2-0. Missed an absolute sitter against Borough. Check my videos for the past 2.5 years. I've said Daka is not good enough at all. The lovely thing about Leicester Fan TV is you can check what I say. We say what we think. I've told you all along Daka's not good enough. He ain't good enough. I said he wasn't good enough at Premier League level. I don't really think he's good at Championship level, if I'm honest. Andy says, why do we play Daka when you have Vardy on the bench? Clueless in there. Chief Brody says it's not over yet, but the fans saying we're going to have the best season in the Championship history were ridiculous and didn't want to hear the truth about the performances. Are we only looking at results? Mr. T says Enzo is just a bold Brendan Rodgers, literally a one-trick pony. Do you agree with Mr. T there? Like LCFC number 4 says, I've lost my mind. Someone kill me, like, man. 3 straight matches from 12 points to 3. Damn, man, I'm so angry. Not really getting what is going there. And obviously, don't do anything silly, mate. It's just football. Peter Taylor says here, playoffs at best, I reckon. Peter, we're still 3 points at the top. I'd rather be Leicester than Ipswich and Leeds. It's not even talk about ending up in the playoffs, because if we were to drop in the playoffs, I certainly would be betting on us to get through that in there. Malone, Richie says, we know that what these lot are capable of at the crunch time at the end of the season. Well, it was crunch time with 20, 30 minutes to go today when you're 2-0 down against Queen's Park Rangers. So disappointing. FFS says Faith in there. PFW on YouTube. Listen, honestly, anybody who thinks that, even I'm sure Reedy, who is like in love with Daka and uses words like the GOAT, which is just idiotic about Daka, he makes himself look silly when he mentions that. Kevin says, you'll still win the league. I hope so. And I'd still rather be Leicester than Ipswich or Leeds. We just need to turn it around. And today was the day to turn it around. Andy says, too slow in defence and teams have worked us out. And no plan B, and Maresca won't change tactics. As you can see, Andy, I'm here. I'm back at the Leicester fan studio area. I'm not at the match. I got my season ticket. I couldn't make it there today. Really gutted that I couldn't get there for the match. I want to know what happened. Not really being able to watch it on a stream. I've listened to bits of Radio Leicester. I'm finding out today, by not being at the match, that you can't get Radio Leicester on DAB to the match. You can't get it on Alexa. So I've been like watching it on stats and chats and all that. And I need to know what has gone wrong at the match today. So let me know. Jack says it's gone stale. Enzo relies on our wide centre-backs to start attacks. So every single attack started with Nelson and JJ. They aren't creative enough. Only option was Abdul out wide. Very stale. Where was Ricardo Pereira, guys? Obviously, he was injured. I know that. Obviously, didn't make the team. But yesterday in Enzo's press conference, there was no chat of Ricardo Pereira not being fit enough for play today. So where was Ricardo Pereira in there today? Maresca is making a right balls up of this, says Ben Morgan in there. Ian says Enzo was good even when we were walking the league, but now the pressure is on. He looks clueless in there. The man says, this all feels so familiar. We bottle it every year. This is some of the worry, obviously. And people who aren't Leicester fans will go, why are you worried? Because you're at the top. And we'll look back to the very near past, which is twice having the chance to have Champions League football and twice messing it up right at the end. When we were top 4 all season, weren't we, in there? LCFC number 4 says QPR had 2 shots, 2 on target. We had 18 shots, only 5 on target. There was, from what I listened to on the radio, there was chances where we just should have shot. Pipes was saying on Radio Leicester, the bits I managed to hear, Pipes said, shoot. He's literally saying, have a shot, and we didn't shoot. Was it like that at the match? Gary says, oh dear, poor form. I can't see where your next point is coming from, in all honesty. Gary doesn't sound like a Leicester fan there, but saying what a lot of Leicester fans are saying. Chief Brody on YouTube says 100% teams have figured us out to stop our attack, and then just taking the chances that we give them is an inevitability. Thanks for that, Chief Brody. Keith, you've been very positive. I know in all our Monday night fan zone chats, you've been very positive. Can't win them all, says Keith. Top of the league, dilly ding, dilly dong. Keith, I genuinely, I love your enthusiasm and I love your but you've got your blue tinted specs on, because that's 3 defeats on the trot. And Borough and QPR are nothing fantastic. Leeds at Ellen Road, I think you could forgive us for that, and we had the better part of the game. But Borough and QPR today, they're poor teams in a poor league. The Championship's poor. Anybody who wants to say the Championship's decent, it's not. It's a poor league. Most of the teams in it are poor. There's 3 or 4 semi-decent sides. I'd class us as a semi-decent side. I'd probably say we'd lose to most Premier League sides if we had this side against them. I know we just won away in extra time at Bournemouth, who had half a team out, but, you know. Yeah, Nick says you've never been able to do DAB, BBC Sounds for contract reasons, FM only. I know I have to go and sit in the car in the rain for a little bit, mate, to hear it. Nick says Wolf back doing light training, but that's some positive news, Phil. Thanks for that in there. Not replacing Casady in January, Nick. Come back and bite us, maybe. What do you think in there? John says Enzo's clueless. I'm just reading out comments here. I'm not saying he's clueless at all, but that's what John says, and he's entitled to his opinion. Michael, watching on YouTube, says Leicester were too slow and predictable in there. Keep getting your views and your comments in. As you can see, I wasn't at the game. I've got my season ticket. I couldn't get there today. I want to know from everybody who managed to watch the game or was at the game, one way or the other, what has happened today? It's QPR. They're 4th from bottom. They're rubbish. They're a rubbish team in a rubbish league. How have we lost at home to them? We've got Mr. T says, make Sunderland away even harder. Sunderland are one of the okay-ish teams in this league. You know, playing at their ground on Tuesday, that ain't going to be easy. Not in this mood, is it? TJ, thanks for watching, says Maresca's tactics are getting found out and he's not experienced enough to adapt yet. This is when you see if a manager can manage. A manager needs to react to a game. When you go 2-0 down, here's my question for you. We were 2-0 down today. Did Enzo react? Did he change what was on the pitch? Did he change players? Did he change the right players? Did he change tactics? I want to know from you guys what you think. Ben says, happy clappers can't see. We're becoming a laughing stock in there. I'm sending the link again for Locks. There you go, mate. It's in there. Yeah, don't think not replacing Casady is the issue. He was far too inconsistent. No, Nick, but what my point of with Casady is that we started January with X amount of players and we actually ended up with less because we let Iverson go on loan, which was fine, but we let Casady go back. We had no choice, but we were 2 players less in the squad at the end. January is about improving your squad, improving the squad. The squad at the end of January was weaker. You have to admit that. Without Casady, it was weaker because he was playing Casady, whether we think he was any good or not. It's an interesting one. Funny Clips on YouTube says Atgun is so slow and has an awful first touch. Terrible game from him. Mavididi and Dewsbury Hall had a stinker. To be fair, Funny Clips, that's why we won't buy Atgun. I don't think we will buy him because I think generally he's too hit and miss. Mark says in here, Leicester are determined to hand the title and promotion to Leeds and Ipswich. 3 games on the bounce in the league. Never saw that coming. Chief Brody says QPR had 2 chances, took them both, then sat in. They've done a Leicester on us. I'm adding Locks in. Let's add him in. Locks, can you hear me?
Yes, mate. Can you hear me all right?
I can, Locks. Obviously, really sadly for myself, I didn't get to the game today because I couldn't get there for one reason or another. I've not managed to see much of it. I've not managed to listen to much of it. I've had to follow it via text. This is like living in 1974 in my world. And I'm looking at the stats and going, it sounds like Leicester doing Leicester, which is 700 passes, 75% possession, quite a lot of chances, but very, very few on target. And we've lost 2-1 at home to a very, very poor QPR in a very, very poor Championship side. What do you know that's happened?
Well, never mind today, mate. Leicester doing a Leicester by what appears to be bottling the second half of the season, mate. That's how it feels like to me. We mentioned it multiple times on my Thursday show where we said, the worry is now because look, at the start of the season, mate, the whole thing from Enzo, the whole spiel was that we're gonna change the mentality at the club, starting with players, then the club, the people who work at the club, and then obviously that then rolls over to the fans. And if you remember at the start of the season, mate, we were scoring more goals than anybody else late on in games. We were kind of the opposite, really. We were struggling a little bit throughout the start and middle of the game, and then towards the end we'd score. Happened loads of times, but now recently we've just been. I think saying bottling games is right. I know today's a little bit different because they went 2-0 up, but we just concede late goals. And I think that ties in with the whole problem with the mentality. I think the mentality. Oh, sorry, mate. I've just lost my camera.
Talk about Leicester dropping off. Your webcam's just fell off.
There we go, mate. There we go. 1 second, mate. Sorry.
It's gone blurry. Jamie, I'll get a few comments out. Jamie says, why, oh, why is all this happening? I'll just let Locks reset himself there and I'll add him back in. Jack says, it's funny how our B team seemed to have a lot of confidence and motivation, especially Cody, and our A team is completely stale and without ideas. Cody should have played today, is his comments in there. Graham, watching on Twitter, says bottle jobs incoming in there, which again is partly what Locks was saying, but I'm keen. I'm adding Locks back in there. Locks, listen, the big thing I want to ask you is, you've gone from telling me that this is going to be a records-breaking season, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, to you sound like you're panicking now.
I think this might just sound a bit naive of me to say, but I think the panicking and the moaning earlier on in the season was rather uncalled for, unnecessary at the time. And I know what's going to happen. You know, if things continue like they are, people will just say to me, I told you so, I told you so. But I don't think that's the right way to actually respond to me, or the right thing to say to me, because we were winning game after game after game earlier in the season. We were finding ways to win games earlier in the season. So I'm not going to accept anyone who says, I told you so. However, what I will say is it does appear that, yeah, teams just are finding it a lot easier to play against us than they did earlier in the season. I think one thing earlier in the season, mate, a lot of teams that we played against, they struggled as well with fitness levels. You know, because of all the passing we do throughout the game, and they did struggle towards the end of the games, which is why we scored more. But as season goes on, players get fitter, right? You know, and you know, I know players get worn out, but at the start of the season, fitness levels aren't like they are now. So I think we've really struggled with finding new ways to win games now, late on, and you know, people talk about plan B and all of that. And I know you jest sometimes, Phil, about not being able to say it. But we know Enzo isn't going to change anything drastic. We know he's not going to change anything drastic, because this is what managers are like these days, right? These types of managers that have their philosophy, they don't check. They don't change their way.
I mean, you'll have to forgive me, and I need to speak to people as well who were at the match. I don't know. Did you manage to see some of it more and more today? Or so when he brought Cannon on, for example, where I'm obviously trying to piece together today what the hell has happened. Where did he play Cannon when he brought him on?
I thought he was in the wait, no, it wasn't 2 centre forwards on the pitch. No, it wasn't. He was a bit further back. Than, you know, where, I mean,
I'm just trying to ask what position Cannon played for, what, 25 minutes, something like that. What position did he play when he came on? Because he is a striker.
I'd say he was in that advanced 8 role that Dewsbury Hall and Atgun play at, basically.
So that's midfield.
Yes.
So he played Cannon in midfield when we're 2 losing.
Yeah.
He brought Atgun on. Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm asking you the questions, Lots. He brought Atgun on as a sub.
Yeah, and took him off. Yeah, but that's a bit different, mate, because obviously it was a forced change, right? That was a forced change, the first one, because Pratt went off, and there wasn't really anyone better. You know, Enzo thought Atgun would be best suited for that role. Coming on,
it sounds like Mavididi didn't have a good game.
No, again, and I know that Reedy spoke about people. You know, so I watched the Sam and Reedy's tactics talk the other day, and I was saying to them, like, in the comments, because I know there was talk about that. I think they said to drop Mavididi in place of Albrighton. And there was a lot of crosses today into the box, mate. I noticed, but our best cross was on.
If only you got a big striker in the box, Locks.
Well, and if only you hadn't, your best crosser wasn't on the bench. Albrighton.
Well, yeah,
he was on the bench.
There's a lot of crosses, and you need somebody in there like Cannon, who's your striker, to do it. Not have him in midfield. Listen, I don't know. I do not know. Funny Clip says here, I think Nacho needs to play in the number 10 role behind Vardy.
I said that.
No one will get. You've said that.
I've said it for ages, mate. Yeah, I said it after the Leeds game as well. I think when people were saying, "Oh, who should we play? Should we play Daka or should we play Vardy? Should we play Nacho?" Yeah, all day long. I don't see why Nacho couldn't play in that role. I think he's played there very briefly, like in periods of games where we might have brought him on or whatever, but he's never started there or anything like that. I think that would be a good role for him while Ndidi's out, because we're really missing Ndidi, by the way. I think people need to remember that Leicester haven't lost a single game this season in which Ndidi's played more than 50 minutes. So yeah.
Don't comment on that.
No complaints, by the way, about Hamza starting, because he was very good against Bournemouth. Hamza, very good.
Why is Cannon playing midfield instead of up front? And all I'm going to say, Locks, is square pegs in round holes.
Yeah, well, Enzo needed a midfielder.
Pardon? Yeah.
Enzo needed a midfielder in January. Didn't get one.
Yeah, didn't get it one way or the other. I've just said we left the January transfer window on February the 1st. We had a weaker squad than on January the 1st because we'd lost Iverson and Casade. So recruitment again.
Yeah. And what was tops after the season, mate? After last season, after relegation, 5 days after relegation, Top comes out with a statement saying that thorough investigation, we will learn from this, blah, 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 blah. And it's all good if you put your money where your mouth is. But guess what? The money didn't get put where his mouth was in January. And I know that there's FFP problems, but you can sign loan players because Casade went back and he was on loan. So you can bring in another loan player. Luke Thomas went out on loan. Remember that. Yeah. Luke Thomas went out on loan as well. So why couldn't we have signed someone on loan?
There's loans to be done. I'm reading Keith Cross's comment. It's funny. I'm not going to put it on screen though, in case we get into trouble for it. It's quite funny.
It's true.
Good one. Tito says Mavadini gave no decent service and was wasted. Locks, listen, we're gonna wrap this up now. Because I don't want to take too much off. Jamie is, of course, doing 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, the Foxes Aftermath show. Monday, I've got a Fan Zone show, 7:30. And, of course, we've got a match on Tuesday, and then we've got your Foxes Focus next Thursday. I just thought today we had to do a live after that because I just want to get one last very short answer from you. Are you panicking now, Locks?
I don't think we'll win the league. Because Leeds and Ipswich are still, they're picking up points. I know obviously they played against 10 men for 45 minutes today, Leeds, but they picked up another point and we didn't for 3 games in a row. So, and Ipswich seem to score goals out of nowhere, mate. They seem to be down and out, and then suddenly they'll score a couple. So I don't think we'll win the league. I still think we will get promoted in second place. It's not time to panic crazy amounts just yet about not getting promoted, but it's looking very, very, very shaky. Very shaky.
Thanks, Locks. Don't forget.
And can I just say one more thing? Sorry. One more thing, by the way. If we drop into the playoffs, we will not go up through the playoffs. No, because I don't, if a team spends that long at the top of the table, at some point 17 points clear, and then they end up in the playoffs, the players are not going to be up for it. The manager probably ain't going to be up for it. The fans aren't. And I've got a very sneaky suspicion that is what we're seeing already right now, that the players are thinking all that hard work down the drain. Yeah. What's the point? You know what I mean? So we'll see.
We need to see a reaction from them against Sunderland on Tuesday. Locks, thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, Jamie is live at 10 a.m. for the Foxes Aftermath show. He won't hold back in his views, and I'll chat further with you on Monday night at 7:30 in the Fan Zone show. If you do get a chance and you want to book tickets, we can now confirm that the Leicester Legends night on March 15th is 100% going ahead. So if you do want to come down there, book your tickets. It's going to be Matt Elliott, Emil Heskey, Muzzy Izzet, Martin O'Neill, Jerry Taggart, Steve Walsh. I think the one thing you'd say about those 6 people, Locks, is that they are not quitters. I'm not saying the Leicester team are, but we'll look forward to your coming, Locks.
Yeah,
I'm coming.
yeah, can't wait.
We're all going to be there. So get your tickets and hopefully we'll be in a better place by then. Thanks, everybody.
Say, hopefully we've actually got a smile on our faces.
So see you lot. Thanks, everybody, for your views and keep the faith.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, Everod's, Barlow Blinds, Booker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Nubian Cow, The Fox's Arms and Rainbow.